Well, for more, let's go to Berlin and correspondent Nick Spicer. Nick, we heard in that report how the Germans are willing to put the startup of that pipeline on hold for a long time. It's a coalition government? Are they all singing from the same hymn sheet?
Well, it sounds like they are, and we found this out in just in the past couple of hours when the Chancellor Olaf Scholz, meeting with the Secretary General of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg, said we're heading into a difficult situation, and there has to, sorry for that noise, there will have to be consequences, specifically when he was asked about Nord Stream 2 being turned off. You're right, there is a fault line within the coalition government. The Social Democratic Party, the party of Ostpolitik under Willy Brandt, the West German party that dared to reach a hand out in peace to the east in order to have détente, you remember that period, that's their DNA. And they have with them the Greens, so in the form of the foreign minister, Annalena Baerbock, who's taken a hard line on Russia, saying, we don't care about gas energy. They're against it in any case. And this pipeline, when she was campaigning, isn't that important. But she's foreign minister now, and she's had to sort of adapt to the realpolitik. And in Moscow, wasn't brandishing that threat in any way. That's something that the Chancellor did when he was meeting with the Secretary General of NATO today, and he didn't do it in a particularly threatening way. He only mentioned it when asked by a reporter that it was on the table, which is really what the NATO allies want to hear.
And Nick, in the last couple of hours, this sort of intensification of diplomatic encounters that have been announced. The German foreign minister in Moscow today, the French, the U.S., and the British who are going where you are to Berlin on Thursday. Now this meeting on Friday between Sergei Lavrov and Antony Blinken. Is there the sense it's getting a lot tenser, or are they close to some kind of breakthrough?
I think, the diplomats are doing their job. They're aware that there's a risk of war, which you're going to be talking about in the debate, and they're doing everything they can to make sure that is averted, I should say. So Antony Blinken, of course, is heading first to Kiev to meet with President Zelensky and the foreign minister there, which is important to the Ukrainians because there was a flurry of diplomacy at the beginning of the month with Blinken coming in and talking to the European Union, talking to NATO, talking to the OSCE and the Russians, of course. And Ukraine was seated on the sidelines, except for the OSCE, which has over 50 people at the table. So feeling sidelined. So it's important for the Ukrainians to have the American Foreign Secretary of State, visit them. I think it's a symbolic visit as well to Russia, which tends to feel that, it can talk over Ukraine's head and it doesn't really have a place in designing what it wants, which is a completely new security architecture for Europe. So that's a significant visit. And yeah, there's definitely an intensification, I think, Francois, of diplomacy, and a sign that all of the parties are taking this much more seriously, but they seem, by my lights at least, to be adamant in their position that the Kremlin is not going to redesign the security architecture of Europe because they're putting forward more steps. The Germans are talking about turning off the Gazprom pipeline. The Brits have sent in anti-tank weapons into Ukraine. There's a discussion, while Germany has ruled out sending its weapons, but there's talk about how do we help Ukraine survive this possible invasion in the capitals. And Blinken's visit is really going to help reinforce that image, whether it's window dressing for Moscow or serious, strategic discussions. That's what we'll find out in the days to come.
Many thanks. Nick Spicer reporting live from Berlin.